How y'all doing? For this video, I'm going to show off more miniatures that I painted between late 2025 and early 2026. And as the title suggests, it is Cultists, a Wizard, and Cockatrice. So, let me explain about all the miniatures I got so far. Now, I will put on the slideshow at the beginning of each set the name of the miniatures that they go with, along with the company that they are associated with. In this case, the miniature companies are, again, Reaper and North Star Military Miniatures. So, as for the Cultists, I got inspired to collect these Cultists mainly through watching Dungeon Craft's video of the Lost City. That's this one right here. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, is an old D&D modular that, the idea is you are adventurers going down to, are stuck in a desert, and your only shelter is this lost abandoned city with a pyramid which you go on top and try and explore the depths of that. It's inspired by Robert Howard's Conan story Red Nails. Just take that story and expand it further. Now, I got this one because I was tempted to get the Goodman Games version of the Lost City, which takes this copy right here and adds a whole lot more material for it, and it's compatible with 5th edition, which I don't have, but I figured just get that one. But by the time I decided I wanted to do so, it was already out of print, and the secondhand markets took it from $75 original price to $300, maybe below $200 in some cases if you look on eBay and all. It's ridiculous. But you can get the original, much less than that, probably around $20, even less, for a complete thing. So, with that said, that's my inspiration of getting these Cultists. Now, the Reaper miniatures, I have 3 sets of Cultists that they have. If you just go to their search and type in Cultists, and you can look at their selections. I chose the metal versions of these. They have the exact same ones I have in the Bones versions. If you're looking for a budget, you don't care about all that. Although I think the Bones versions are the white Bones, so if you get those, you might want to submerge them in isopropyl alcohol. Take a coffee mug, fill that in, and just dunk them in and let them soak for 24 hours or overnight or something like that. Because to my experience with the Bones, the white ones anyway, not the newer ones are fine, but it's a different color. But the white ones, if you just take it out of package, my experience is that they feel tacky when you paint them and put the finish on. They just feel sticky. And the isopropyl alcohol bath would just sort of take that residue off, no problem. Now, the Reaper miniature Cultists I grabbed, and interesting thing enough, when you look at some of these, with a decent enough paint job with the right style and colorations, some of these Cultists could actually work for Dark Sun, the old D&D campaign. They could probably serve as Templars, Wizards, and a couple of them could serve as thieves. So, just so if you're looking for Dark Sun miniatures, check these out. The other Cultists I got are from North Star Military Miniatures, and they're Cultists to Rangers of Shadow Deep. Not necessarily in the core rulebook, but in one of the expansion ones, there's where we have to go up against Cultists of some kind. And if you go to North Star Military Miniatures and look up the Rangers of Shadow Deep, you can see the Cultists that they have available. Any Cultist could work. It's a miniature agnostic game and all that and everything. The Wizard I got for this video was one I got from free on ReaperMiniatures.com. Now, every month, when you order something that's $50 or more, they have a selection of miniatures that they can add in for absolutely free at no charge. Maybe additional paint that goes with that. And it changes every month, so I don't think it's there anymore. But it is Gregor the Winter Wizard. It was a relatively new release. I got it because it was a neat looking miniature. It's of their New Bones line, but it's not the white one, it's of the black color, so you don't have to worry about the residue as I mentioned earlier. I like this miniature because it has a nice little Scandinavian Russian look about him, so if you're interested in that Scandinavian Russian style, this is a perfect one for you. I mean, it's a wizard that is fit for the cold. In fact, if you're a Frostgrave player, interested in that's a perfect wizard miniature to go with this. It just fits the theme entirely. Now, as for the paint job, I wasn't very creative. I just saw how they painted it on Reaper miniatures and more or less matched that. And I think it did a fairly good job, more or less. But hey, for those who are more creative types, especially if you're into that Scandinavian, motif and all that, perhaps you could give it a more interesting paint job. The last couple miniatures I'm showing off in this slideshow are Cockatrice. So again, these are from Reaper Miniatures. So why did I get these? Well, it's because of this game, Forbidden Psalm. This is a miniature agnostic game that it's based on the world of Morkborg, or Merkborg if you want to pronounce it right. It's done third party. It's not, it's compatible with Morkborg, but it's not an official one. It's just as, again, third party, and I'm kind of glad for it is. And so I got the Cockatrice because much as I think this, a lot of people do enjoy this game, and I think it's very good. It's very simple and all to play, but I think the creators on it added things that really it is silly and funny, which I'm not I'm not against, but I think it's turned in the wrong direction in what the dark twisted stuff. You're going to be going to have some anywhere humor, let it match on this. Some of it just gets silly, like one of your characters can be equipped with a pet rock, and I think that just kind of kills the theme on that. Not to mention, which I don't want to talk about politics. There's a couple of things in here you could tell you about what the creator's view on certain things is. But one of the silly things I think they didn't have to put in here, they could have changed it with something more fitting to the setting, was the mutant chicken of Cockatrice. It's not much. In fact, simple little picture right here. I don't know if I can show it off. It's that. Okay, so it's a monster you can fight. Low HP, has laser eyes, and and again, it could be funny, make people laugh on it. But when you read Morkborg and see the themes and all that, it's a very dark setting where the world is coming to the end. It's not. It's one of those that you're not trying to prevent it. It's already happening. You're just going on these dark adventures there until the end, or until your characters die, whichever comes first. Most likely the latter. But I digress. But with that, they put in a mutant chicken of Cockatrice with laser eyes. With this, they could have easily turned this into a cockatrice, because a cockatrice is a small creature with a small lizard or dragon body and a chicken's head, and it has a foul breath or a killer stare. It's something you find in in folklore and all that, in fairy tales. And I don't know why they didn't put this in and keep it more fitting to the theme. But other than that, I figured if I ever decide to play this, instead of playing, getting a chicken, you just replace it with a cockatrice, and that way you put a more serious tone about that. So that's why I got these. And not that I played this game, but I like the idea that if I ever decide to play the game, I have miniatures that can work for it. So there you have it. That is the description of these miniatures that I got and why I picked them out. And in the description there, I'll put down the websites for Reaper Minis and North Star Military miniatures. And so in case you are interested in getting those and want to explore further, you can link down below and go about purchasing them. So with that said, here's a slideshow of before and after, except for one group of cultists I forgot to take before pictures, so it's just straight paint job, but that's not going to harm anything. So with that said, here's the slideshow. So I hope you all enjoy. Thank you all for watching. You have a nice day.